Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Omega Seamaster Professional Planet Ocean 600 meter. You can see and you can own this 2017 43.5mm grade 5 titanium dive watch on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this 43.5mm 600 meter dive watch. Now this watch took the previous 43.5mm case size of the Planet Ocean GMT and created perhaps a right-sized professional grade dive watch, smaller than the 45.5 but bigger and more usable than the older 42. It's a handsome watch that fits well on my 16cm wrist, and you can see 16 centimeters circumference with an oval profile. I'm not at the lower limit to wear this watch. I could wear this watch on a 14.5cm circumference wrist, provided that wrist is more oval than round. It's light on the wrist, though it is thick. Now, 16.2 millimeters thick. It's 43.5 across the round of the case, not including the helium escape valve or the crown guards. However, I should also mention that across the wrist, it's a very reasonable 49 millimeters. Very few watches of this case diameter are going to be that compact across the wrist, and I have to say, it wears more like a cushion case than a round watch, and that's a good thing. All in grade 5 titanium, which is both very light and more scratch resistant than steel. You can see there's a handsome contrasting finish. You see brushed satin finish, you see polish, you see a 3-link design that probably owes more than a slight nod to the Rolex Oyster, but this one's lighter on the wrist, bigger channels underneath too, allowing the wrist to breathe on a hot day, aerating nicely and avoiding the pinching of skin or the pulling of hair. We've come a long way, I should say, since Die Another Day, and James Bond would have known in Pierce Brosnan's era pins and sleeves, but today they are all screws, the higher grade way of sizing a bracelet. You're going to see a lot of high-grade material in this bracelet and clasp. All of satin finish for low glare. You can see it's milled out links and clasp body, but there are handsome details like the hairline polished bevel contrasting with the satin finish of the tops and the flanks. The polishing of the lozenge style twin trigger release. You must positively press both and disengage to pop this one open. Now you get both a dive extension which folds out and, thanks to ceramic retaining pins, never loses its original crisp factory tolerances, and you get the push button slider that allows you to very micrometrically size this bracelet, moving in or out in small increments without needing to resort to a jeweler's tool or a jeweler. Very tough, very nicely made, satisfying to snap open or closed. This one features quite a bit of deluxe equipment. The hardware externally, including the helium escape valve that has become iconic of the series. You'll probably never need this unless you engage in saturation diving, but it's a fun conversation piece, and hey, luxury's about getting more than you need. A nice feature ergonomically is that the bracelet has no solid end links to flare out, so it wears true to size. The size on a bracelet would be exactly the same distance across the wrist as the size on a NATO strap, for example. Handsome case, polished bevels, satin finish on the flanks of the case. You can see there is a media blasted crown finish, polished and knurled on its flanks. The bezel is a combination of an amorphous metal compound known as liquid metal. That's what you see filling the indices, numerals, and calibrations. A gray ceramic that is nearly indelible, effectively as tough as the sapphire itself, and a small but very tough splash of day-glow orange rubber. That's how they create that look. Now you can see the orange accents, which have been a long time hallmark of Omega dive watches, and particularly the Planet Ocean family since it debuted in 2005. Present and correct on the dial. All the indices and numerals are hand applied, as well as the Omega marquee and logo. This is an upscale dial, and that's before we get to the fact that it's made of a media blasted grade 5 titanium that creates a handsome gray sheen beneath the blackened hands. And you can see broad arrow. This is a little bit of vintage style here. Now that there's a Seamaster 300 in the catalog, the Planet Ocean no longer needs to carry the torch as the vintage inspired line. It can become a little bit more modern, tech oriented, and of course upscale in its timeless finish. It doesn't have to cop the vintage look anymore, but the broad arrows and the orange accents, as well as the Arabics, the tri-Arabics, much appreciated. Discrete date window at 3 o'clock. Now this does feature the, let me see if I can find it, the time zone functionality, such that you can roll forward or backwards through the international date line as you're traveling, adjusting in 1 hour increments. This is one of the few dates that goes both directions as you adjust the hour hand with no hazard to the movement. Note that the balance doesn't stop. The watch keeps ticking, so it doesn't affect the timekeeping precision of this METAS certified chronometer. What is that METAS certified chronometer? Yes, it is a METAS chronometer, no longer COSC, though it still meets those standards. METAS is a standard created by Omega and the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology. It includes a test of the watch's resistances, its chronometric performance, power reserve, and it's a test, critically, of the fully cased-up watch, unlike COSC, which is a test, I should say, just of the movement and only a taste of the watch itself. This is a full watch test. That's what you get with METAS. Important note, when you pull the crown to extremity, you do hack the balance. This does have hacking seconds for synchronizing your watch. Full balance bridge and a free sprung index. Those two features brace the balance wheel, protect it from shock, and keep it accurate even in the face of vibrations and concussion on the wrist. Now, it's a silicon hairspring SI14 amagnetic, not anti-magnetic, amagnetic, twin mainspring barrels, release torque very evenly throughout the power reserve of the watch. You can see the twin barrels under the sapphire display case back. Itself a bit of a point of distinction among 600-meter dive watches. You rarely see their movements, but the twin barrels endow the watch with even torque release throughout its full power reserve for precision when fully wound, precision when almost discharged, and the power reserve of 60 hours is solidly more than the industry automatic standard of 38 to 42. Of course, you also have the coaxial escapement, now tri-level, and this movement exclusive to Omega. The 8900 tri-level coaxial system is as tough as any Rolex caliber, and Omega has finally realized the original potential of the George Daniels coaxial system for short-term timing stability, reduced long-term maintenance needs, and improved long-term timing stability. And of course, it has that quirky coaxial-specific beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour. A handsome watch, a durable watch, a right-sized watch. You can see this 43.5mm 2017 model Seamaster Planet Ocean and buy it on our website.